Welcome to Ask Ron, where Ron answers questions from Gold Club members each week. I'm Adel, and Ron is here to answer today's questions. If you'd like to submit a question, make sure you're a Gold Club member at ronsgoldclub.com. Our first question is from Tim in Kentucky. Do you know any Kentucky attorneys who work with real estate investors and can handle deals virtually?
I don't, Tim. However, they're not that hard to find. First place I started asking people I know that I believe know what they're talking about, and you'll get that answer very quick. Realtors use closing attorneys. Then there's always Google. Make a call or two or three if you're going to do this. You'll find your attorney. You want somebody that is a full-time attorney dealing mostly with real estate investors. And if the attorney you approach wants you to give them a retainer fee, you're in the wrong room. Get up and go elsewhere. Attorneys get paid with a fee on the closing statement, anywhere from $500 to $1,000. And it certainly isn't worth any more than that, because there's only a handful of documents that have to be prepared.
All right. Matt from Oregon. Can I place a property into a trust if the deed is in my mother's name and she's been making the payments? There's very little owed. I plan to pay it off, and I want to avoid a sale. Should the trust be done before or after bringing a land patent forward, and how is a trust recorded?
Number one, the trust is definitely not recorded. The deed to the trust is recorded. You can, with your mother's cooperation, of course, if her name is on title, then you just have to transfer it from her to you, and there shouldn't be any transfer tax to do that. But I'll tell you what I do, though, is the trust takes title to the house, and then an LLC takes or owns the trust. I got one tax return, and that's that trust.
Phil from Texas. We've used your land trust document successfully and see demand locally for setting up trusts for others. What are your thoughts on offering land trust set up as a paid service? Any legal or business concerns?
Yeah, why on earth would you want to do that? First of all, somebody's going to say acting like an attorney without a license, because when you do legal things like that, that's exactly what you're doing. And in addition to that, the fee would be minuscule, not even worth your time. It's pretty hard to avoid these golden turds that come at you all the time. You can't do everything. You better focus on the thing that's making you the most money, and that's houses, if you're actually working on it.
All right, Sarah from Florida. As a beginner wholesaler, what's the best way to build a real cash buyer list before having a deal under contract?
You don't need to do that. You get it under contract, because when they call you, they're going to call about that house. So I wait till you get something under contract, and then put out some free advertising. And where? Facebook Marketplace. Where else?
Definitely Facebook Marketplace. I always say go to your local meetups. All of your big investors usually go to a lot of those meetups, and you can meet them face to face and build a relationship instead of just having an email list.
Right.
All right, Mark from Ohio. When a seller has little equity, how do you decide between a subject to deal versus a lease option when payments are similar to market rent?
I would do a lease purchase because, wait a minute, you're in Texas. You don't have hardly
any. Ohio.
Ohio, okay. I don't know what your closing costs are in Ohio, but I don't want to pay closing costs, which should be several $1,000s, if I'm scared I'm not going to keep the house. So with the lease option, there's no closing costs. When you walk out of the house, the lease option agreement is signed and you're done, other than you really need to have your attorney do a title search, give him all the rest of the documents, disclosures and disclaimers that he would like to give him, and let him have contact with the seller. Takes away most of the risk of them thinking you're some kind of a scam.
All right, Lisa from North Carolina. When calling FSBO sellers from Zillow, what should I say early in the call to determine quickly if they're open to a terms deal?
First, you say, listen, I'm calling about your house. Is it still for sale? And from there, you can go right into the script, right into the top. All right, well, let me get some facts here, and let me see if we can work together. And you start at the top of the script and work your way down.
All right, and last one, Robert from Oregon. Do you plan to schedule additional online or in-person events after May? Nothing appears on the calendar for the rest of the year.
Yes, we just haven't done it yet. We're still working on locations and cities and so forth. A few other odds and ends.
All right. That's all the questions.
See you next week.
All right.